Hey, there you are. Welcome. It is the 27th of January, 2025. Let me get the year right. I'm Rudy Maxa. I'm a travel journalist and writer and broadcaster, and my colleague Tommy Danielsen is an expert on all things involving frequent flyer miles and airlines and hotels and hotel
Late night room
points.
service.
You're right. And we do this occasionally. If you're a first-time viewer, we sign on occasionally and talk about what's going on in travel right now. And we've got big news, which Tommy told me about. I don't know, Tommy, I didn't even see it today. Did I not read it in the Wall Street Journal that Starwood is coming back?
Well, and as you know, and others that know me might know, is I'm a huge Starwood fan. I was lifetime platinum with them, and stayed with them more than any other hotel chain. So you might think in your mind that yes, Starwood is coming back, but it's not. So what pretty much have happened here is that the feller who used to own Starwood, who founded Starwood back in the day, Barry Sternlicht,
Sure.
he has bought the brand name back.
From
Marriott
Marriott.
retired retired the brand and then he bought it back. The guy who founded Starwood bought it back, and I don't know we're not talking about how much money is here, but this history of Starwood is that he purchased a lot of brands back in the '90s, and like the Westins and the Sheratons and all that kind of stuff. And they
And then
also
Marriott bought Starwood.
Marriott bought Starwood in 2016, 17 ish, and rolled them into. And for those who know that, last week on the channel we talked about. I had Gary Leff on. You were also on then when Gary was on. Gary did most of the talking because he's a pretty smart guy, so much smarter than you and I.
Yeah, no doubt.
And we talked about Marriott and the downfall. And the downfall that Marriott had is that Marriott used to be consistent, meaning that they used to be a very good for those who wanted consistency in that the rooms looked the same. They knew exactly what to expect, but they didn't promise much in way of, confirmed late checkout wasn't a confirmed thing. It was upon availability, and breakfast was shoddy, and it wasn't any free breakfast, and it was not really a good loyalty program, but it was really easy to attain because you could have multiple credit cards. If you had 4 Marriott credit cards stacked up, that would give you platinum right there, right? It was just so very easy to get. So, and when these brands, when Marriott acquired, and it was pretty hefty back then, it was a pretty big power battle. There was and Gary covered this in his article, back when they, it's pretty, this is a good piece by Gary, who knows the history. He's also a huge Starwood fan, and
So let's cut to the chase here. Has Barry Sternlicht bought any hotel? He just bought the Starwood name. He's not
he
getting.
has bought the Starwood name. He
So
has.
he's not getting any hotels back from Marriott.
Yeah, so the new Starwood already has 3 hotel brands that Sternlicht owns today. It's called Baccarat, One Hotel, and Treehouse. And he reports working on at least one more brand, and they all have development pipelines. So the new Starwood plans to open 22 hotels in the pipeline through 2028, including 1 hotel in Austin, Texas, 1 in Crete, and 1 in Seattle. That's pretty wild out there. And then
Tommy, when you say opening 1 hotel in Austin, do you mean a hotel named One Hotel?
the One Hotels is what it's called. That's the one brand. They're going to
Right.
open
So
up 3
they're
of
not
them.
just opening a single hotel. Is they're opening
Correct.
a
One
hotel?
Hotels is
Quote,
the
quote,
brand. If you see here, it's if
Got
I were to highlight it here, it's called One Hotels.
Okay. So all right. And these,
And then so there are
there's gonna be
3 in the
3 hotel
pipeline for
brands
that.
under Starwood's name.
Yeah, so it will be under Starwood, and who knows if he's going to start Starwood Preferred Guest again. Best hotel loyalty program that's ever existed. It was just very, very valuable and lots of great property. So obviously, 30 hotels. They're also thinking about, so he owns 3 hotel brands, and he's adding more stuff, and he's mentioning here, we're talking about the Baccarat in Dubai, UAE, and the Maldives and Rome, and then Treehouse in Manchester, England, and Miami. So it's like all over the place, right? So, but obviously the nitty gritty of things that will add over the pipeline holds 52 hotels plus any other that he does. So 52 hotels is like. That's merely the size of Omni Hotels, Gary writes, and then doesn't approach the scale that will make them a challenger to Marriott, Hilton, or IHG. But it is a start, right?
Think he'll open any hotels called Starwood? No.
Well, I'm sure the chain, I'm sure, will be called Starwood Hotels, right? Absolutely.
Okay,
He owns the brand now, and that's, it's a cool gig. I think that's... He knows for a fact that it was a really, really, really good lifestyle brand, and they were innovators with everything that they did. From the W hotels, I don't know if you remember when they came out in the mid '90s,
Yes, I do.
And Starwood Preferred Guest is a huge winner of both the Frequent Traveler Awards and Freddie Awards. So they did the beds, the heavenly beds, and they kind of focused on making the hotel, the Bliss amenities, the huge spa thing in New York, their shampoos and stuff for the W hotels. They were innovative in the space, and he knows that the most loyal customers, I would say, that existed back then were the Starwood customers. I mean, Hyatt wasn't as good as it is now. Hyatt has kind of filled the space, but Hyatt is still, there's a lot of junk, like a lot of Hyatt Place and Hyatt House, right? That's the majority of the brands in the U.S. So it'll be funny to see what happens. But, it's not going to be a big chain, but maybe we'll see Starwood Preferred Guest show up again.
Good. And you say we do not know how much he paid Marriott for it?
That was not disclosed, no.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about Bilt Rent Day. Did you get your email about that?
I haven't checked my email. I've been out running around all day today. Have they announced what the first of the month specials are for Bilt people?
Yeah, so for the big kahuna this month is transfer bonus to Avianca Life Miles, where Platinum members get 100% extra points, which isn't really that much of a, they always have.
Just a 1-to-1 transfer. If you have 100 Bilt points, you get a.
Yeah, I think so. So the bonus is obviously you get 20% more, 40% more, 50% more. But Avianca has transfer bonuses all the time. They have transfer bonuses all the time, and also, in many cases, buying Avianca Life Miles, if there's availability, is also includes a ton of bonus points. Like, I purchased when I was in Europe in August. I had some meetings in Finland, and in Sweden and Norway. And when I was in Finland and Sweden and Norway, I was flying back, and I didn't know when to go, so I couldn't have a revenue ticket because international tickets cost a ton of money to change. So I was going to burn miles on that, and I found a Lufthansa business class from Helsinki to Frankfurt to LA on a 747, which is obviously a nice airplane. So I decided to swing on that, and it was like with very little, like 57,000 miles or something like that. And they had a 200% campaign to purchase miles. So the total for me for a one-way from Helsinki to LA purchase miles came out to about $795.
Who'd you purchase? You're talking Lufthansa here. Is that?
Yeah, so it's Lufthansa.
But we're talking the Avianca miles here.
Avianca is a part of Star Alliance, and Lufthansa is a part of Star Alliance. So you can use Avianca miles to redeem on Lufthansa as well. Like
So
Delta can.
you bought Avianca miles at a good price, which allowed you to fly on Lufthansa from Helsinki
Correct.
back to LA.
It came out to about $800 for me to. I went and
Business
saw
class.
the availability. It was
Business class.
88,000 United miles
Business class, right?
business class. Yeah,
Okay, right.
it was 88,000 United miles on United's website, and it's like that's a little bit over the top. So I was like going, and I looked and I went to Avianca's website, and what do you know? It was available there as well because it was a standard award. And I didn't have enough, so I went in and I purchased enough to redeem for that flight. And it was like $800. So it was a one-way. So that's a huge trick that you can do it. So I wouldn't say that this isn't the nothing to do cartwheels over. They've got some 2x and 3x, 2 to 6x on 4x on travel, and yeah, it's the usual suspects. This isn't something to be really happy about.
I keep
All
wanting
right.
Bilt to provide a 50. Last year they did a thing, 50% bonus on transferring Bilt points and turning them into Hyatt points. I keep hoping that'll come up again, and it hasn't.
Yeah.
You can do it 1-to-1, but sometimes last year they had a 1.5 to 1.
Yeah, 1.1 is obviously not a good thing, but I think if they have a multiplier, just the ones that are more rare. Getting a good deal on Avianca points is something that Amex and Chase does all the time. And it's not like a big thing. And also, like the opportunity to purchase miles might be a better play. I would say that Bilt points are more valuable transferring over to somebody like American or something like that. I just feel like that's better value and things like
All
that.
right,
But
so if
anyways.
you have a Bilt card, it's time to look at your first of the month deals. And you can only do it on the first day of the month.
Correct. It's in your inbox. Let's see here. Bond void again. So, as you know, we've seen some. There's been a trend back in the day. It always used to be like when there was award charged for flights and for hotel rooms, but and an airline or a hotel chain would always send you notice that, hey, we are changing
like
the valuation
3
of blah
months
blah
ahead
blah.
of time or something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is another stealth
Increase.
devaluation of Marriott points again. And Gary is covering this yesterday and caught my eye. And they've seen that there's a lot of chatter about many properties changing their minimums. But here, people say hotels don't decide how many points to charge. Marriott does, and have set a reimbursement rate at the properties. So Marriott will just adjust the points price of the given nights and the likelihood that they would expect to pay more. That's not what's going on here. It does seem that point pricing had gone up in a systematic way at many properties. Just a week ago, the JW Masai Mara, which is a property that, it got flooded back last spring, but which happens by the river up there. I've been up there, and I was at the Fairmont? I don't remember. It was something like that. But I was in a tent, which was kind of... Have you ever been in a tent in the jungle in Africa?
Not in a tent, no.
Yeah, so those tents are...
Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I mean, luxury. Yeah, I have been, actually, yes.
Yeah, so if you are a light sleeper like me, then having a monkey run on your on the roof of your tent at 2 o'clock in the morning, not cool. But anyway, so it looks to me like, so they used to be 124,000 points a night, and now the lowest price you can find is 200,000. Now 198.
Wow.
198.
Wow.
So, and here is also mentioning the relaunch of Starwood can't come soon enough. That is very true. Very, very fun. So look out for those redemptions. It's very hard to tell because there's no accountability and there's no transparency. So it is what it is. I guess that's par for the course these days.
Okay. You want to take another one? You want me to do the best and worst airlines of 2000?
The best and worst airlines. Yes, you have this one. So let me just stop the sharing, and then you can go ahead and tell me what's going on with that.
Well, a couple of days ago, Wall Street Journal came out with its annual survey of best airlines, and the two winners were Delta, number one, and Southwest. Now, they 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 measure a whole bunch of different, let me see what, on-time arrivals, overall rank, the fewest mishandled bags, the fewest 2-hour tarmac delays, least involuntary bumping means somebody was bumped even though they didn't want to be. Delta had one involuntary bumping last year, which means
One?
one, which means if they overbooked the plane, they actually gave enough dollars or miles to convince people to get off the plane. So they were voluntarily bumped. So that's the difference. You can be bumped voluntarily because you go, yeah, hey, I'll take $500 to take the next flight out, or 50,000 points or whatever. So they managed to please everybody except one guy who had to be kicked off the plane, and wouldn't take any. But that's amazing to only have one.
That's crazy.
But anyway, least what else?
Well,
Fewest cancels.
the highest I heard, somebody has gotten for a voluntary, the people have taken compensation. It's over $10,000.
Wow. I was once offered $2,000 on British Airways to take a flight the next day to London. And I didn't, I wanted to do it. I was sitting here at Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport, but I promised my granddaughters I was coming in the next day. And so I said, no, I don't want the 2,000. I landed, I told my daughter, I could have gotten 2,000. And she said, well, why didn't you? I said, she said, you could have come in the next day. Yeah,
so what about if they had offered you $10,000? Would you have taken it?
Yeah, 10,000 I would have taken it. Granddaughters be damned.
Right.
But anyway, so the Wall Street Journal every year takes all these particular, fewest delays, their number of on-time arrivals, and ranks the airlines with this formula. And Delta came up on top, and Southwest was right behind. United was like number 5, and American was, I think, number 9 or 10, way down. However, carriers last year lost a lot fewer bags than previously. And 3 out of 4 flights arrived on time. Now, we also know if you fly a lot, that a lot of flights are coming in ahead of time. That's because the airlines have just built in extra time for their flight, even though they know the flight time is less than they built in, if they know that this flight, because of airplane congestion or airport congestion, they'll build in an extra 20 minutes or half an hour, and then they say, we're on time. But still, on time was good, fewer lost bags, so it was generally a good year. American had a very low rate, a very high rate for lost bags. They're still having trouble, and they told the Wall Street Journal, we're working on it. But Allegiant came in with the very best bag handling rate for the entire year. Not that Allegiant has that many flights. Alaska came in 9 points below Delta, and Allegiant 11 points. Alaska was third in place. So
interesting.
Southwest looked like we're the big winners this year.
Okay, that surprises the hell out of me. I mean, Southwest has an important year, the most important year in their history right now, and their ability to turn around a plane is pathetic. I mean, it's you in Europe, and you've been to Europe, and you've flown European carriers all the time,
right?
Or many times. And the way that it works there is that Norwegian, Ryanair, EasyJet, and the likes of those, Vueling or Wizz Air, they usually, in order to turn around, and they got more seats. So a 737-800 has maximum amount of seats you can have on a 737-800 is 189 seats. And Southwest probably has 170, I would say, with all coach configuration. And it takes them, because of that stupid no seat assignment situation, it takes them a full hour versus the 25 to turn around a plane in the U.S. and often longer than that. There's no sense of urgency either because they don't have to really be on time, and it's not really something that American carriers care about. And so it's now in June they're going to start selling seat assignments, and they're also going to put in economy plus, so like 36 inch of leg room. So Much like what's it called? What's it called on Delta? Main cabin plus? No, it's called something else. Mel.
They all have different names. But yeah.
Right. So literally the front of the cabin is good. It's not going to be in a first class, but there's going to be a good set of legroom in the first few rows. And that's going to help Southwest a lot because they have like always a couple of like 10, 15, 20 minutes delayed. And so hopefully that's why and also they're also padding. Everybody, the U.S. carriers are padding, just like you said. They have something called block time, from gate to gate, and from here to L.A. When you are taxiing out and the flight time from Northern California, Sacramento Airport is an hour, around an hour. And I just booked a Delta flight earlier today, and it has an hour and 46 minutes. It's the flight time.
Extra 46 minutes built in for.
So it's kind of a miracle that if they were not to be on time, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm remiss. I said that Delta's only had one involuntarily bumping. American Airlines had 13,200. So they were. It's a widespread.
Wow, that's crazy.
Delta's
I'm going to check. I'm going to read that article because that's pretty interesting. American Airlines. We're going to talk about them in a minute because the last piece of the schedule today is to talk about all of these guys, how they're doing financially.
Right.
But before we get to that, SAS, Scandinavian Airlines, the newest wonder boy in SkyTeam, moved over from Star Alliance to SkyTeam, which is a really rare occurrence that a big-ish or like medium-sized plus airline moves alliances. That's not something that happens every day. Right. They are the next in line to introduce SpaceX or Starlink internet on their planes, and which is. There's a lot of controversy right now. We have a guy that runs the business is the CEO of the business who is behaving. That's behaving erratically and is a little bit of a jackass. But this is a good move for SAS. They need it. They've had a lot of planes that have been the internet's been out of order. Not every plane has it and things like that. And I would say my experience with Starlink, which is on Hawaiian or other carriers, Hawaiian is the sign on at Hawaiian is like. You don't even have to log on to your Hawaiian account because if you don't have one, you don't have one. You literally are just accepting the terms and conditions and boof, you're online. And the whole plane, and also for free. And it's fast as hell. Super happy. I was able to even stream Netflix on it. That's how good it was.
Well, I just flew from Singapore to San Francisco on United. Now, it costs $28 to have Wi-Fi. But I actually had Wi-Fi almost all the way across the Pacific Ocean, which I had never had before.
But I don't think United has Starlink, do they?
I don't know. I didn't ask. I was surprised that they could offer it.
No, the satellite goes via satellite. It's really not that hard to deliver. I mean, the connection by Boeing was the world leader, and SAS was one of the first customers to get connection by Boeing. And that was like back in 2005, 6-ish, something like that. I flew to the U.S. all the time. Wow. And it was good quality stuff, but it cost the same as it costs now. This is going to be interesting, though, and that's going to be the trend. Airlines like SAS here, you have to be a member of their frequent flyer program. That's it. That's all which is a good play. I mean, it's like you get their email in your database. That's a good trade for them. But it'll be free for everybody. And it was all free for everybody on Hawaiian, too. And I think Delta also is now doing it for free for everybody. So by the end of next year, Wi-Fi on planes will be free. And I think that Elon Musk is a scumbag, and I'm not going to give him any of my money, but he does most definitely have the best internet in the sky right now.
And are you saying that you think more and more airlines are going to be hooking up to Starlink?
I hope so, because that means reliable and good internet.
Yeah, okay. All right.
All right, cool. Let's see. You were talking about Delta Skyclub. Now the end is near. Da-da-da.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about for the Delta Skyclub access changes? It's coming up next week, you said, or is it?
It's February 1.
February 1. Here we go.
4 days. Yeah, it's Delta Sky clubs have been getting very crowded, as many airline clubs are. And so they announced to members that if you've got, let me see, can I switch over here and still be
You
on
can read.
camera?
So I can see the. So here are the. I have the four right in front of us. I'll read it for you.
Okay,
So
I got
those
it
who
right.
have the Delta credit cards, the reserve credit card, which used to be unlimited. Do you have that card?
I do.
Don't you? So you have the highest level credit card from Delta?
Yes, it's 15 free visits this year, beginning
Yes.
February.
So you'll get 15 visits per program year beginning February 1st. Members can earn unlimited visits after spending $75,000 in a calendar year.
Right, on their credit card. That's not happening with me because I don't own a construction firm that buys a bunch of crap, or a bunch of construction stuff. But yeah, it's gone from unlimited to 15 visits now. If if you are changing planes a couple times, or if you want to get off the plane and go to the Delta Club, one visit will encompass one day's travel.
Right.
So you can use the club, 2 or 3 times a day if your flights demand it, but it's still only 15 days. Now, if you have an American Express,
Platinum card, yeah. The card that I have, I don't have a Delta card because I don't fly Delta very much.
then you have
10.
10, 10, 10
Yeah,
days.
so it's not that much of a difference. And for somebody like me, it'll have zero impact on me. And also, it's worth noting that when you're flying internationally and you have access to the Delta One Club if you're in business class, right? So those obviously don't count.
Right.
And also, when you fly internationally in coach or in premium on Delta as well, it also doesn't count. This is just for domestic stuff. They're not going to charge you for that because everybody has access. For you who have platinum status with Delta, you're still going to get that, or as a gold and above, I think it is that gets access. So when you're flying out of the country, you automatically get complimentary access to the club, regardless.
Right.
Do you think it'll be less crowded?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to cut some people out. It's going to definitely cut some people out. I mean, the people who are going to be hurt are the business travelers who are traveling every week, 2 or 3 Delta flights a week. I mean, for somebody who travels, I mean, I am platinum on Delta, so I do fly them a bit, but, I'll be fine. But the frequent business traveler who shuttles between New York and Boston or LA and New York all the time,
Right.
is going to, if they got both cards, they'll be able to use it 25 days of the year.
Right.
Which is not a lot if you fly
Right.
every week. But anyway.
But you also have to realize that you can also, there's a way out of it, the classic way. Before credit cards, we all paid money to be a member. And it's $695 to get...
the top credit card.
Yes, correct. What's executive? What does that mean?
Let me look. Is that a name of a card?
No, it's called, previously, Delta allowed anyone to purchase an annual pass to its lounges for $545 as of January 1st. Yeah, so it's, I don't know there must be two levels here. What does that mean? What a bad article. What is this? Oh, NerdWallet. I should have known better. Yeah, so obviously you can still buy your way access if you're a road warrior. That's money well spent. But for somebody like me or anybody who are casual Delta flyers, I fly Delta maybe like 3 or 4 times a year. Maybe 4, maybe 5, but it doesn't matter. I mean, so I've been to the Delta Skyclub in L.A., which is a pretty decent club, the new one that was just opened. I've been there maybe 3 times. So for me, it has no impact on me. And I mean, at the end of the day, I think that the people who have the platinum card from American Express is. I mean, the only ones who should care. But also, don't you get, when you're Delta Diamond, don't you also get free annual membership then?
I'm not Diamond this year. I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
I think you have it. I think that you used to get it as an automatic perk, but now they have made it so you have to choose it as one of your benefits. But there is an avenue for Diamond members to do that. So if you're a road warrior, I don't think, prediction, it will not change the crowdiness of the lounges. And also, another thing that we saw, which is kind of interesting, at LAX, they have opened a Delta One lounge, right?
I saw that. Yes. Yeah.
And for that lounge, they're not letting in business class passengers for other SkyTeam members. It's just Delta.
Well, now the question is are other airlines going to start limiting their club visits too, like American
No,
Airlines?
it's always been Delta. Delta has always been the ones who are always limiting stuff like that. They've always been the only ones who's kind of gotten a free rides are American Express Platinum members, because American Express bailed Delta out of their last Chapter 11.
Right.
And they have always gotten and I think that this was a hard sell for them, for sure, to get them to do it. And we're moving in. We have one more thing to talk about before we move into the other piece here, but we're going to talk about the numbers and how much money Delta makes from American Express a year in a moment. All right, last one I have here before we move into that is we talked about the Saudi giga-projects that are going down on in the desert and around the Red Sea. You remember that?
Oh yeah. The 450-mile building, whatever.
Yeah, and they're revealed. They were in Davos last week. Where all the
In
all of
Switzerland.
the people who are the globalists and who are the globalists and the people who are like Soros and Bill
Shakers
Gates.
movement. The Shakers
Yeah, all of
movement.
the evil guys of the world. They were meeting at the World Economic Forum in Davos, or they were having a conversation last week, and the guy from Dennis Hickey, the chief development officers, could share that they've made a lot of progress. We know that the island has opened.
Yeah, part of it's
What is it called again? Salala, I think it's called. And but the line is the one that people have been talking about, because it's a revolutionary thing. It's going to go straight through the desert for 100 plus. What was it? 100 plus miles, I think it was.
I don't know. I was exaggerating, joking. Is it really?
No,
100?
no, no. It's more than 100 miles long, I think. And
Oh
the
my
thing
God.
here with that is that it's going to be a long infrastructure. It's going to be self-sustainable. It's going to have 100% clean renewables and all that kind of stuff. And have an infrastructure and have everything in there. It's going to be a high-speed train in the basement, so you can get from one end of it to another in a couple of minutes.
I
And
think we got to be really graphic about this for folks. This is a long line. This is a building that's going to go
Right.
on for tens miles.
correct.
One
If we
building.
want to have to look at the pictures of it, this is actually drastically scales back ambitions, which is not true. That has not happened. 106 miles long, linear city is what they're
Unbelievable.
talking about.
Unbelievable.
So
Unbelievable.
it starts in the ocean, it goes straight across the whole thing. Sindala Island is down here in this area. I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing, but down
Yeah,
here,
I
that
can see
island
it.
has opened, and there's going to be a Four Seasons. There's going to be a couple of autograph collections, and St. Regis and stuff like that's going to be on that island too. I think it was there, and so that it's like right now there's a ton of yachts and personal villas. There's golf courses and stuff. So that's how it looks. That's the plan of it. And looking at the what has happened though. So first of all, they got this is what came out, news that came out this morning, is that they have secured $3 billion in guaranteed financing from 9 international banks. So the Saudis are not just pumping in oil money; they're also getting finances from banks and stuff, right?
But all
So
right, who would go to that island now? Just somebody go there for vacation?
yeah, the island is built. Here's the island right here.
And how do you get there? Do you fly there if you don't have a
There is
private
an
jet?
airport, yeah. So here as you can see now, this is actually an updated picture. So it's a luxury thing. You can play golf, you can have lobster, and you can go do diving. You can look at turtles. You can see a guy with beard, and I will shave later today. And then, so you can park your yacht there. But there's actually, for those who follow the channel, we did let me go in and find
So right now it's a vacation spot. There's no office stuff yet going on. The 100
no,
miles.
Sindala Island. So it's in the hot zone. It's funny because it's in an area where it's close to Israel, right? So
Right.
the line, you can see it here. You can see it from the satellite pictures that these guys are digging. And
Right.
they have come a lot further than that. And it's going to go all the way down to
Unbelievable.
here.
Unbelievable.
But,
Unbelievable.
and the airport is over here. It's called, no, that's not it. NEOM is what it's called. NEOM
Right.
Airport.
So
And
how do
I think it's the same. Yeah, now they've refreshed it recently. So it's a Boeing 737, like the Boeing business jet over here. And then you got some helicopters going on. And then you've got it's hard to tell, but it's some sort of a private jet that's over here. That's not really that far away from, and here you see there, look at these. We're talking about desert here. Look at these guys building in the desert.
this is the island we're looking at.
No, that's
No?
not the island. The island is over here.
How long does it take to get from the airport to the island? We don't know.
Helicopter, probably 10 minutes.
Helicopter. Okay.
So
Well,
here,
if you don't know.
oh, excuse me. Here's the island. I don't
What,
think
what,
that this is updated very much because we see barges. This is where we saw all the yachts, right?
right, right, right.
Right.
What if you can't take the helicopter? What if you don't want to afford the helicopter? How do you get there?
I think you do a boat. It's not really that far, Rudy.
Okay. Okay.
It's maybe if we were to say maybe if I'm looking here, so 2 miles is from here to here, probably about 30 miles.
Okay. It's like going
So they're
from Dulles
building
to
all this
downtown
stuff, and there's
DC.
going to be a ton more things happening here. So if we were, but the fun part here is like the Saudis were kind of being laughed at because they're doing all this crazy stuff, right?
Right.
But now we are seeing pictures showing up that they're actually we're seeing pictures showing up of them building the line, right? That to me looks like more than a plan. So
Well, one of us ought
$500
to go
billion
over there and
are
check it
going
out.
to spend on all this.
One of us ought to go over there and check it out, Tommy.
Yeah, it's not yet. I think. I think they need to be. I think that I used to always joke
get that
about
Four
Abu
Seasons
Dhabi. I used to always joke about Abu Dhabi being. I always had sand in my shoes when I went to the airport in Abu Dhabi. Not so Dubai doesn't have that anymore, but back in the day, I used to joke about that for Abu Dhabi. I think there'll be a lot of sand in my shoes going there right now.
I see.
All right, let's look a little bit about the. I saw that Matthew Clint was writing about, or actually it was Kyle Stewart that's on that blog. Not likely, all the terrible three is what I call them: United, American, and Delta, and it truly shows that American has been focusing on paying off debt. That has been their thing for the last year. But they have the trend is showing that if we look at we'll go through that in a minute, but actually we're not going to talk about that. We're going to what happened here? Okay, here we go. So United had a great year, and
Stock is through the roof. It's triple figures now. Amazing.
what
$50 to over 100.
what?
The United stock has just been through the roof. It was $50, at the beginning of the year. It's now $100 a share.
Right. So they had here are they had a pre-tax earning of 4.2 billion last year, and that's a pre-tax margin of 7.3%. So that's, I would say that they're getting close to their goal of being double-digit margin, which is pretty good for an airline.
Yes, it is.
Net income 3.1 billion and adjusted net income 3.5. So I would say that, and also as you can see, the cash flow is getting better, and capacity was up a lot, meaning they have a lot more planes in traffic right now, which is good news because they were, all the airlines were struggling to find pilots and get planes up in the air that were delayed, of some 787s and other airplanes that were not delivered on time and things like that. So all things are up, pointing up for United for sure, and Connective Media is which is a retail media company that United founded. That's mentioned on the third line, and I think that's extremely important to take note of. So Connective Media is United doing the same thing as Best Buy had done in a different way, of course. And United has a huge advantage here that compared to Delta and American and very many other airlines is because United has decided they're going to put in a TV screen in every single seat on their new planes, and it's going to be great. And it's the big screens, and they're literally pumping those out to being. If you go on a Delta plane, there's a lot of old junk there, like old 757s and all sorts of crap with these little TVs that, you know, their 737-800s also have a lot of that. So United has purposely, and I don't know if it was on purpose because these airlines do a lot of weird stuff, but they have new TVs, big TVs, interactive stuff, new things. They are, as you can see here, they're also further down on the list. Actually on the top of the list here, second line, is that they are rolling out a deal with Starlink. Also, like we talked about earlier with SAS, spring of 2025. So that's also, which is integral in order to deliver some of these things. So Connective is a new leg to stand on. So what it does, it takes all of the personalized advertising. So what it means is that United is sitting on a ton of data. Like what you as a United customer do, they can predict what, with AI now happening, and that company that's working on retail media called Connective Media is a really interesting move. I think that we're going to see a lot from. Meaning that when you
They're starting a network, basically.
When you're sitting down in a chair on an airplane from United, they know that you're the one who's sitting there. Well, unless you switch to seat with somebody else, but you sit down in that seat and United Airline knows exactly what you want and where you've been and where you're going and how you're surfing and what you're buying. So right now you're seeing the United Explorer card, you know, that ad, super annoying, happens all the time. Then you see an ad from Autograph Collection or something from Marriott because they have a close relationship with them, and then maybe a third ad. Well, guess what? You're going to see it. The whole experience is going to be in the app, on the plane, with the TV, on your tablet, on all places, on the website, in your account. That's going to be a huge. They're going to be a huge. The retail media thing is going to skyrocket. I think that's a.
Tommy, they're not going to target each individual traveler differently on a flight, are they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They have the ability to do so. Why wouldn't they?
So if they know I'm a diamond guy, they must think I travel a lot. I might get a more upscale ad than somebody who flies once a year sitting in a different seat?
Absolutely. They can decide what goes on that TV screen in front of you.
Oh, my God.
That's so cool, though. Actually, it's the top tier for them is 1K. The Diamond is Delta, but, you know, same thing.
Oh, excuse me, 1K. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I think United has done some really good job. I think that, you know, they have also started improving some things. You know, they didn't have a wine list on board. They were like, hey, you run to Trader Joe's and get some wine for this flight type of thing. There's like, fine red wines and white wines and sparkling wines from around the world. That was the wine list. It was like the most pathetic things ever that happened for a decade with United, right? Now they started to give some serious champagnes and stuff. And also they have increased the cost of a bottle of wine has gone up significantly also. You know, I'm not a big fan. Do you like rosé wine?
Well, on a summer day by a pool, maybe. I don't know about on an airplane flight, but.
Not on a Singapore to O'Hare flight, right?
No, probably not. Is this all on United's website, all this stuff?
Yeah, that's under the newsroom for their stuff.
Oh, my God.
They're doing the Whisper and Angel from Provence, right?
Yeah, right, okay. That's pretty
the biggest hyped up rosé wine in the world.
Yeah,
and everybody who doesn't know anything about wine, they've read that it's hyped up and it's like all in the, you know, it's very popular, but it's not really that good. And everybody says it, but they
buy a bottle of wine on the plane?
No, but they will give it to you in business class.
Oh, they're serving it. Okay.
Yes.
So they're serving better wines.
They are serving better wines, and catering is supposed to improve. I hope that the United Club, and the Polaris Lounge was starting to slip a little bit. I hope that they're on their way now to change that also. Let's look at how Delta is doing. So Delta has, record revenue for sure. It's kind of nuts, to be honest with you, that they have $61 billion worth of $61.6 billion, and they had an operating margin of 9.7%. So they're doing better than
United.
yeah, better than United. Operating cash flow is $8 billion. Payments of debt and finance lease obligations $4 billion. I think they also usually have in here with what they've got with the credit cards. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah. So it seems like they didn't put it in their report. But I think that the figure is that Delta sold $7 billion worth of points to Delta miles or Sky Miles to American Express last year.
How many?
$7 billion worth.
$7 billion.
Correct.
All right, I was just looking here while you were looking that up. Both at the 52-week low for United Airlines and Delta both was $37 a share. The last 52 weeks, $37 has been the lowest price per share for both airlines.
Right.
But right now, United's at $116 a share. Delta's only at $68 a share, which might suggest Delta's a buy. I don't know.
That's interesting. I have not looked at that, to be honest with you. But I will tell you one thing that let's hear how Americans doing.
Okay, hang on. I'll tell you right away.
I think that there's a bet now on life expectancy, not life expectancy, but how long Isom is going to be in the boss seat there. I think it's less than 3 months before he's going to get shit canned out of there.
All right, 52-week low for for American was $9, and it closed today at $17. So compared to United and American, it's a
they're let in the dust. I mean, I think American is bragging about how well their new loyalty program is doing. I think that they're on the wrong track, and I think that they're going to have a lot of problems. And also that the article that I closed, I read through that article. It wasn't that good. I want to share it with you, but. Their bonuses paid out to their employees at American was like $20 million, while the profit share for United and Delta was like $1 billion. So that tells you everything that you need to know. American, while Delta and United are definitely making money without credit cards and banks. American Airlines is not. They would be full speed ahead towards Chapter 11 without it. And I think that I'm predicting that there will be another round of bankruptcy at American to clean things up. They have way too high of a cost right now. They have made deals with, and all the airlines in the U.S. made incredibly bad deals with pilots and other employees because they were forced to after the pandemic because they made the wrong move. They used American, Delta, and United used the money that they got from the government, $80 billion of subsidies from the COVID. They used that money to do all sorts of other things like stock buybacks and things like that. They spent the money on themselves instead of spending it on what they should have done, and that has made a situation that they gave packages to all of these pilots, and the pilots figured, okay, I don't want to work anymore, and I'm having a good time with my $300,000 a year pension. So, sayonara, I'm not going to go back to work. Or maybe they're flying for Emirates. Maybe they're flying for any other of the other big carriers, international ones. So, yeah, that's it's a fascinating time we're living in for that. But I'm encouraged by looking and seeing that. How innovative United has been. I am really impressed with what they've shown in the last year and a half, and specifically the retail media plans that they have. And also they're making moves, and they've got a big Boeing order now for the 100 787s, and I think even more. That's a huge order that, and hopefully Boeing will get their act together and get the 777X going as well. And a much more profitable airplane in operation, and has the technology of the 787 with the lower cabin pressure, much less noise on board and things like that. So yeah.
Well, all right. We'll wrap it up. Let me just remind you, if you've been watching this all the way through, that we are talking live on Monday, January 27th, 2025. So if you're watching this a year later, obviously some of this information is either old news or didn't happen. Just keep in mind that this is a end of January of 2025 conversation. Thank you for joining me and Tommy, and we'll see you again sometime in not too far the future.
Ciao,
Take
folks.
care.